What? It's Daddy's eye. What? That's Daddy's eyeball. Stop picking at Daddy's eyeballs. I'm trying to do a show here. Welcome, one and everyone, to this week's episode of Scotch and Smoke Rings. Episode number 259, I do believe it is. I am your neighborhood-friendly Oxhorn and son, here with my suspender set to maximum stun. I hope everybody is doing very well today. I'm having a good day. Had a good day at work, and my kid is trying to take off my head, apparently, because this is how he plays at playtime. Let's poke Daddy's eyes. Let's play with Daddy's nose. Let's take off Daddy's head. Ah! Ah! And let's climb all over. Ah! Come on, kiddo. I'm trying to... Oh. His feet are like sandpaper. He gets really good grip. Oh, you're asking about his shirt? Yeah. It's not me, but if I were a dog, it would be me. It's a bulldog with a mustache and a monocle and a hat. Right? Gavin, who's that? Do you see yourself? Who's that? Who's that little guy right there? I know, that's you. I'm going to put my finger right in your mouth. That's right, open big. I'm putting my finger in your mouth. I'm going to tickle your nose. Ah, I know, kiddo. Oh, what was that? Was that a little dramatic pose? You want some foods? Oh, he's having fun. It's like he's playing in the mirror. Say something impressive. And with... Mim? Okay, that's impressive. Oh, he wants to crawl all over me again. Alright. Well, kiddo, I'm going to give you back to your mama and try and do the show here. Ah! Alright. I'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Wave bye-bye. Can you say bye-bye? Bye-bye. All right. Well, whew, ladies and gentlemen, I am here with both my arms empty, sans the child. But I think he wanted to say hi to everybody, and since every week he tries to break in here anyway, I figured I would just let him on in so that he can experience the majesty that is hosting this fine program. All right. Let me announce to the world that I'm actually streaming. I forgot to do that earlier, and it's kind of important. Brings lots of the people nearby. Oh shoot, where is my Scotch glass? Did I forget my Scotch glass? Awani says, baby boy is so innocent. Oxhorn can tell that he will have the most magnificent beard when he grows into manhood. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he will. He's got the genes, as you can see. I'm sure that by the time he turns 16, he'll have already sprouted some manly mane. Captain Maximov says, where's your son's cigar and hat? He's obviously been drinking since he has no pants. Yeah, but when you're a toddler, you can have no pants, and drinking doesn't necessarily need to be your only excuse for that. Alright, streaming live episode 259 of Scotch and Smoke. What is the song we're listening to? Okay. And the message is sent. Great. Well, ladies and gentlemen, friends and fiends, masters and maids, how are you all doing today? I hope you're having a great day, a fantastic time. Got a great show for you today. We've got cigars, we've got scotch, we have all sorts of amazingness. But when he says, oh, I see. So a toddler cannot have pants on, but when I do it, I'm a drunkard. Pity. It's all about time and place, my friend. There are times when pantlessness is the norm and acceptable. Usually those instances involve being by yourself in the shower, right? But when you're in public, such things tend to be frowned upon by a gentlemanly society. Gentleman Badger says, I'm doing just fine. Oxhorn, how are you? Been doing well. Lots going on today, which I'll get to in a little bit. I gotta get my cigars ready. Ulfrif17 says, out of curiosity, what have you been doing for gaming free time for the past few years? I haven't seen one of your shows in years. Hearthstone, really. I tend to play Hearthstone with the fans during the program every week, or many weeks. I gotta turn the volume down on that just a little. Almost every week we'll play Hearthstone together, and that's really it. That's really about it. Alright, well today we are smoking a Rocky Patel Vintage 1999 with a Connecticut leaf wrapper. This is one of the gems that came in Cigar Ox's recent present to me. Cigar Ox, as you know, is the premier supplier of gentlemanly stogies to our show, scotchandsmokerings.com. He tends to send me 1 to 2 care packages a month, and we of course really appreciate it. So Cigar Ox, if you're watching, thank you very much. You are keeping this show fully fueled. But I opened up the package, and he always sends me an eclectic collection. Sometimes there are really nice cigars in there, sometimes there are lesser cigars in there. But I opened up this and I discovered that we have a vintage Rocky Patel 1999. So this is like a 15-year-old cigar. This is older than my son. This is probably older than some of you. And I'm about to cut it open and set it on fire. Because that is what we do here at Scotch and Smoke Rings. Would you want it any other way? Now, tell me I have some lighter fluid or matches or something. Yes. My matches from Amsterdam. This was the box of matches I took with me from the De l'Europe Hotel and Cigar Lounge, which was an amazing time. I sat in that cigar lounge in downtown Amsterdam with my boss at the time, and we just waxed philosophic about life in general. Oh, when he says your cigar is 1 year older than me, Oxhorn. Well, kudos to you, my friend, for being on the show here today. Ulfrif17 says, gotta go, thanks for answering my question. Pleasure to have you here as always. Good to see you coming back.
Facebook. Find us at facebook.com/RadioDismute.
Boss at the time asks McLovin, Greg McLovin Hartung. Yeah, I was going on a business trip to Amsterdam, so I was there with my coworkers and my boss at the time. I'm still working for the same company, but my bosses tend to cycle in and cycle out. Those of you who have worked at a large company will know exactly what that's like. This reminds me, though, so I got this box from the Amsterdam, when I was in Amsterdam, and if any of you have been watching the news today, you'll have heard the tragic and sad news about the latest Malaysian flight that has gone down. Apparently, early this morning, there was a Malaysian flight that left the Amsterdam airport and was flying over the Ukraine. There's a specific place called Donetsk or something. I don't know how it's pronounced, but apparently there's a lot of fighting going on there because there are some pro-Russian, anti-Ukrainian terrorists, basically, who are fighting the Ukraine in that section. And for some reason, the Malaysian flight flew over that section of Earth, 30,000 feet in the air, and somebody sent a missile their way and blew up the entire plane, and 280-something people died, many of whom were children, and it was just a great nasty mess. And you know, it touched home here in the Oxhorn family, not because I was recently in Amsterdam, but because many of my coworkers are from Amsterdam. My office has an entire office. We have a satellite campus in Amsterdam, and we had many of our fellow employees from Amsterdam were in the office today, and I found out about this tragedy because I was trying to have a conversation with them, and they had their iPods in, and they were listening to the news while talking to me, and I'm like, well, what are you listening to? And they said, you know, the news about this tragedy. And so everyone was really shook up today, and you know, it's just a horrible tragedy. So just wanted to express, you know, some solidarity with the family members that have gone through that tragedy right now, because it's just a really horrible thing. I mean, there's nothing good about this in any way. It's just really horrible. So anyway, I just wanted to say that, and then move on to more cigars and scotch, which is what we are here to do today. You know, it's another hot day here in Scotch and Smoke Rings land. Last week I complained about the heat, and many of you made fun of me because I, of course, am in Seattle where the heat is not that bad. But today is even worse. Look up the weather, the temperature in Seattle, and you're going to find that it is a piping 150 degrees. That's right, I am boiling in my own hat right now. So I brought in a little cup full of ice at the beginning of the show, and look, it's already all melted. And I also discovered, to my dismay, let me see if I can set my cigar down for a moment, that my scotch is nearly done. The scotch is nearly done. What kind of show am I running here when the scotch is nearly done? So what we'll do is we'll finish off this little bit of scotch. Oh, that is tragic. And instead we will have what the classy people call scotch and soda. Now, I don't have any normal soda. Typically when you produce a scotch and soda, you've got a little soda machine. You just squeeze down on it and it squirts some soda water into your glass. But sadly I don't have any of that, so I came prepared with a can of just seltzer water. Soda. Doesn't have the same sound effect, but it's liquid, it's H2O, and it's a little bubbly, and we're going to be having some scotch and soda. So cheers, ladies and gentlemen, to finding creative ways to make your beverage last. Bottoms up. Ooh. Alright, I can see why our classy fathers and mothers of days gone by could drink themselves silly with such delicious beverages. It goes down smooth. William Moore says, "Hail, hail, good sir. I hope your beard is long and your bacon crispy." Can bacon be any other way? Yes, my beard is long and my bacon is extra crispy today. Thank you very much. Dragon XL asks a great question. In light of him knowing about my novel, The Tale of Clore and Hastings, he asks, "Hey Oxhorn, do you know the secret to ridding oneself of writer's block?" I do. Now, I can't tell you that this will work for you, but it always works for me. When I sit down to write, I'm tempted to multitask like I do with anything else. For instance, when I'm making websites or doing other kind of work, I'll have a show on Netflix over in the corner, or maybe I'll be listening to music or something. But when I write, I turn off all other distractions. No internet, no TV, no music. Sometimes I'll listen to music, but it has to be instrumental. No words. Because when I'm writing and I hear music with words, it completely messes me up. Then I just open up Microsoft Word, stare at the blank page, and start writing. Now here's where many writers mess up. Especially when it comes to fiction. If they're beginning a short story or starting a novel, they think that they have to start at the beginning. But you don't. Oftentimes when I go to write a novel or a short story, I'll have a scene in my head. Like, I know that when I write this book, this one scene will appear in the novel, and I've already got it mapped out in my head. I've got the characters created, and I know where that one's going. But it doesn't happen until much later in the book. But while it's fresh in my memory, I'll sit down and I'll write that entire chapter, even though it comes later, because that's what's on my heart to write. You know, that's what I'm inspired to write at that moment. So my tips are: shut down all distractions, give yourself an hour or two of solid writing time with no interruptions. Make sure that you're full but not too full, because you don't want to go into a food coma. You're just right on that cusp of not being hungry. And then just listen to some instrumental music. I like to listen to some epic movie soundtracks, like Gladiator, Lord of the Rings, Pirates of the Caribbean, and then just write. So that would be my tip for you, my friend. Ironbark shares some great advice. He says, you just need to write when you schedule yourself to write. And if you can't think of anything for your current project, either start something new or copyright one of your favorite novels. Andy the DK says, Ox, have you ever had an Aroma de Cuba cigar? They're an amazing stick. Definitely give it a try. Aroma de Cuba cigar. So the aroma of Cuba. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I'll Google that. I've got some other ones here. Let's see. I thought there was one that Cigar Ox gave me that was talking about Cuba. Anyway, I remember it being really good. So the thing you have to be wary of when you've got a cigar that says Cuba on it is it's very unlikely to be an actual Cuban cigar. It's much more likely to be made from Cuban seed tobacco. So they'll take seeds from the tobacco plant that naturally grows in Cuba, and then they'll take those seeds and plant them in the Dominican Republic or in Nicaragua or Honduras, and then sell that as Cuban seed tobacco. Doesn't always taste the same, but definitely worth a try. Ironbark says, copywriting another author gives you more insight into how the other author thinks if you copy down their work instead of just reading it. It may sound strange, but it's a good practice for you. Oh, it's good advice. Hadn't actually heard that one before, but it makes a lot of sense. I'll have to try that myself. Drivens is in the chat today, and he says, I have to go. It's Bloiding 4:18 in the AM. Cheers. Well, my friend, I'm glad that you were here for as long as you were. Get some sleep. Get some sleep. Bottoms up, ladies and gentlemen. Bottoms up. Chin chin. Can't go wrong with Rocky Patel. I saw this one in the stack, and I've smoked a few others of his cigars, but I said, no, I'm going to save this one for the Scotch and Smoke Rings show so that they can enjoy it just as much as I. Okay, we have fan art in the house today from the ladies and gentlemen of the Scotch and Smoke Rings Facebook group. So let's go ahead and share my screen. so that you can see exactly what I see. Okay, so this is from Magin Justin, and he says, Oxhorn is in Bloodhoof Village. Quite a classy day, if I do say so myself, ladies and am I right, ladies and gentlemen? I will show more tooths next week. Well, you know, Oxhorn always looks good in Bloodhoof Village. So classy indeed, good sir. Nice screenshot there. And then we have this, which is a link from Nina, and she says, if you like beards, you'll love beards with flowers in them. Because apparently the internet is just now realizing that some men like to put flowers in their beards and take pictures of themselves. Not something I would ever do, but it's definitely becoming a trend. And then Nolan discovered what Oxhorn would look like with the new user models, and he shared a link. So let's open this up and see exactly what Oxhorn is going to look like with the new Warlords of Draenor art. If it ever loads. Come on, internet. Loading, 98%. Alright, so it looks like Warlords of Draenor is going to be a tie-dyed neon... Oh wait, no, there he is. Okay, it's Oxhorn. But it's not Oxhorn. It's kind of Oxhorn? How do you zoom in? Oh. Come on. I hate this mouse. This mouse doesn't scroll right. Oh great, now he's small. Bollocks! You can't use the scroll bar because when you're in the browser it wants to scroll up. Oh, come on. Alright, well, the link is on the Scotch and Smoke Rings Facebook group. If you want to check it out, you can see exactly what Oxhorn will look like in Warlords of Draenor. But thank you for that one, Nolan. Alright, next up is this from Damon LaRue. Fries, including those of the sweet potato variety, wrapped in delicious bacon. Healthy? No. Amazing? Indeed. Indeed, indeed. That looks delicious. Yeah, okay, so it looks like other people have discovered the flowers and beards thing. Evan Huker also shared this. On a completely different website, too. This one's on Elite Daily. Women love flowers. Women love beards. So what women wouldn't love? A flower beard. I like the title. Hipsters are now wearing flower crowns in their beards. Seriously. I really don't think it's a serious thing. I think this is something they do when they pose for photos. But I have yet to see a hipster walking down the streets of Ballard with flowers in his beard. This is a nice submission from Dawn. It's a little baby with a mustache pacifier. And I like the one that this parent chose. I mean, it's perfect for the face of this baby. So nicely done. Thank you there, Dawn. And then here's a great question from Daniel Copland. Have any of my fellow Scotch and Smoke Rings comrades ever had a job where being clean-shaven was a requirement? Was it enforced? Were you able to get an exception? Thankfully, I personally have never had to have one of those jobs. At least not when I was an adult. But I do look forward to hearing from the rest of the viewers to see if they had such an experience. Here's one from Nathan Giles, and it's Jimmy Dean's sausage bed sheets. Who does not love this bed? The cover is a big strip of bacon with a sausage pillow and an egg pillow. Yeah, I would sleep in that every night. Here's a nice one. Father, originally I didn't like having a beard. Dad stopped, says the son. But then it grew on me. It grew on me, Carl. It grew on me. Clever, clever. Thank you for that one. Then there's this from Daniel, and let's see if we can zoom in. Is it going to let us zoom in on this? No? Alright, let's try and find a different photo here. There we go, okay. I hate to do it, but I have to go back to work. I'll really miss you, beard. Goatee, not so bad. Mustache? Nah, I don't like. That doesn't seem right. Time to clean it all up with the fantasy blade nonetheless. Make sure to get both sides. What the? Yeah. Alright. Nicely done. Thank you for that one. Got a good question on Twitter today. And let's see here. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I retweeted something. Oh man, I guess it's not going to be here. How does the Twitter work? Never mind. Anyway, somebody was tweeting me that that they enjoyed reading The Tale of Cloran Hastings, and so there it is. Let's see. Here it is. I just finished The Tale of Cloran Hastings. Great book. Couldn't put it down. Says Bayani. Well, thank you very much, Bayani. I hope you're watching the show today. I'm so glad that you enjoyed the book. And for those of you who don't know what he is referring to, he is, of course, referring to this, The Tale of Cloran Hastings, my swashbuckling adventure sea yarn, filled with fantastic monsters, magical magic, and epicness. Available for the low price of your money in my pocket. From the places like Amazon and iTunes. Available at CloranHastings.com. If Bayani liked it, you too will like it. Guaranteed, or I shake my head in dismay. Alright. Messages! For those who don't know, I do have a message system over at scotchandsmokerings.com where you can actually record me a message. So let's check those messages and see what we've got today. Shiyut, my good sir, you were on the line today. What would you like to say?
This is directed right at Oxhorn, not at you. I'll start an argument for you guys in a minute. Anyways, Oxhorn, why is your character always wearing Night Elf clothing? Oxhorn's always wearing Night Elf Druid clothing, and he is a Druid, meaning he was taught by someone who was taught by someone who was taught by someone who was a Night Elf who was taught by another Night Elf, potentially who was taught by Cenarius. Still in the end, without an elf, your Druidism wouldn't exist. And if anyone in the chat has to argue about this, no, Druidism was lost to the Tauren, okay? Deal with it.
Oh!
That was a little bit unclassy, but you know what? This is just lore. I have to deal with this stuff all the time in my guild. Alright. Stay classy.
He's throwing it down! So for those who are lacking a little bit of context on this, last week Shiyut came on and was saying that the Tauren are, if you're playing, he was basically saying that the Tauren are more hippie than the elves, because the Tauren worship the Earth Mother and they can be druids. And so he was just elucidating us with his masterfully stated knowledge of World of Warcraft lore, I have to admit. But there is a flaw in your logic, Shiyut, and I'm going to point it out right now. If I eat a bacon burger that was made by a teenage boy earning $15 an hour at Burger King, which was made by a bunch of butchers who were butchering up cattle and pigs and even piglets, and farmers that were putting together things for the bread, which was grown from earth rich in minerals and manure, which was placed down there by erosion from the rivers that came from the mountain and the defecation from other animals that seeped into the soil. Does that make me a planet? Because I eat a hamburger? Huh? I'm just saying. This is the logic, right? A druid that was trained by a druid that was trained by a druid, huh? The burger that was made by a kid that made the food from the butcher and the earth and the mountain. This is a chain of logic, my friend. It's a slippery slope. Let us not start putting down such rabbit trails, or else our reason will become thwarted. Next on the line is Osku Velasa. What have you to say, my friend?
Hey Ox, I live in Finland, so I can't watch your streams live. I watch them on YouTube, but you haven't uploaded them to YouTube in 2 weeks. Why haven't you? I need them.
Oh!
Audience.
I'm so sorry, Osku. Now I feel like a right solid jerk. You're right. You're absolutely right, Osku. I need to go ahead and do that. For those who don't know, I have been lazy. That's right, I have been lazy, and I have not uploaded a recent episode of Scotch and Smoke Rings to YouTube in about 3 weeks. And Osku can't watch my show live because he's from Finland. And so the only class he gets every week is when he sees my episode on YouTube. And I have been robbing him of that class. And it gets me in the heart and in the clavicle. And I feel for my Finnish friend. So Osku, kudos to you for bringing this matter to my attention. I will fix it forthwith with many of the uploadings and quite possibly of the publishings to the YouTube machinery. I promise. Well, thank you for your messages, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for your fan art and even your logical quandaries and arguments, which are always fun. If you are wanting to also submit to this fine program, you can go to scotchandsmokerings.com, and there's a little floating hover bar there that says leave a message, where you can record your message. And then go to our Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/Oxhorn. And you will be able to post a photo and join the company. Gamer Natalie says, "Oh my, those bacon fries are making me hungry." Indeed, and sweet potato fries at that. I mean, sweet potato fries, first of all, delicious, but wrapped in bacon, dipped in mayonnaise and mustard. Oh, don't get me started, and don't tease my heart. William Moore tells us a story and says, "Oxhorn, I have a tale. My brother was cheerfully teasing about my beard, as it is currently only a short and is only about a year old. He jokingly said that girls only like full beards, and that I should shave it. But in the face of these jokes I said unto him, a man who shaves his beard for a woman deserves neither. You, sir, are an epic quotesman. This is a good piece of wisdom. But you can tell your brother this, that even though your beard is short, you are 1 year closer to having a full beard than he is. And when you both enter college, he will have the ripe baby face of a 13-year-old. You'll look like a tiny child. But you will have the dignified and distinguished jaw of a college man. And who will have the women wrapped around his arms, eh?" That's what I say. Speaking of bacon, where's Kevin Bacon says, "Holy cow, kill 3. Let's put him in his perch. There we go. Kevin, good to have you here, my friend. Say hello to the faithful. Hello. That wasn't me. That was him. Alright, he had to retire for the evening. Livestream7 asks, is this live? No, this is a recording. Too bad. You got to replay, my friend. Sorry about that. These things happen. My ice is melting. Gosh. Kuta22 says, my friend has already read your book, and he says that it's pure awesomeness. but unfortunately I didn't have an occasion to get my hands on one. By the way, have you ever read any Polish books? No, I haven't. I have not read any Polish books. I would love to, but I have sadly not read any Polish books quite yet. But that said, you can always get a copy of my book. I know your friend didn't loan you his, but you can always go to chloronhastings.com and purchase your own version. William Moore says, actually my brother has a bigger beard than me. But still, if I were to shave it, I would lose a year's worth of hard beardly work. Indeed you would. So, I mean, kudos to him for having the genetics to grow an awesome beard, but you are on your journey, and every bearded man has to go through this process. This is not unique to just you. Every man, including myself, had to go... No, actually, I was born. I sprouted forth from the ground with a full beard. That's right, I was born from the ground. But, most other normal mortals have to go through this process. So, you know, it's okay. Andy the DK says, Oxhorn, did you draw the cover art for your book? No, I didn't. I hired a very talented man from Taiwan, I believe, to write it, to do the artwork for me. Michael Lee. That's right, his name is Michael Lee. Ironbark says, wait, does that mean Oxhorn is really a dwarf born from the earth? That's a quandary. I have the beard, yes, but I'm not that short. I also don't wield an axe. This is a tough one. Andy the DK says, but you, sir, are the brains behind the book. Well, yeah, I wrote it. And then I went to Michael and I said, here's what I would like you to draw. And he drew it. And it went through a few iterations, but it came out looking great. So he did a great job. I couldn't be more pleased with the cover that he created for me. Cigarox brings me to task and says, what big doings will you have in 2 weeks for the 5-year special? 2 weeks. Oh, please tell me that this is serendipity. Ha-ha! It is! Ha-ha-ha! Alright, so the 31st, that's the 5-year episode. It just so happens that I made plans to host the 31st episode at a very special place. And I don't want to give them all away now, but for those of you who have been frequent viewers of this fine program, you'll remember that we have had a few co-hosts on this program in the past. Some are personal friends of mine, some are the CEOs of major video game companies, and so forth. And I'm not gonna say who I'm going to be co-hosting this fine program with, but we're gonna have a beautiful view of the city. We'll have a selection of cigars and classy beverages, and maybe we'll make that episode extra long and extra special. And it just so happens that that's also the 5-year anniversary episode. So that's good news, right? Shawarma says, Oxhorn, exporting jobs overseas like all good American capitalists. I don't get it. Was that about my Finnish remark? Oh. I'm slightly confused. Elizabeth says, wow, 5 years. It's been so long. Indeed. Well, Gavin is 2 years old. 2 years ago he was born. Many of you here remember watching me bringing him before you the day after he was born in this very room and showing him off. That was 2 years ago. 2 years! Where does this time go? 2 years ago. My goodness. Oh! Shiut says, but Krendor isn't the guy who would fit into a classy place like this. He's for more fun stuff. Okay, that's like a double ouch. First, you're ouching Krendor by saying that he's not classy. And second, you're ouching me by saying that I'm not fun. What? What? You can be classy and fun at the same time. Look, I'm wearing a fun shirt today. Did you notice that? It's seersucker. Normally I wear plaid. Woo! And no one noticed. Whoa. This is a good cigar. The ash clings to it well. Dragon XL says, oh, good query. What can you do when you have a scene of a novel in the works in your head, but you are in a public place with nothing to write on? Can you help me out? Yeah, I'll give you my secret. Pop open your phone quickly. Scroll to the recording app. Voice memos. And record something. This is me recording the thought that I just had a moment ago. I'm going to explain it in public because I don't want to lose it. This was such a great idea, and it's going to fit in my book in chapter X-teen. And the main character is going to feel what? And then the readers are going to go, ooh, and this is going to make you $1 million. Don't forget to do it. Then you can play it back at any time. This is me recording the thought that I just had a moment ago. I'm going to explain it in public because I don't want to lose it. This was such a great idea, and it's going to fit in my book. Yeah! Chapter X-teen. Oh my gosh! And the main character is going to feel what? Whoa! And then the readers are going to go, ooh! Amazing! This is going to make you $1 million. Don't forget to do it. I had that thought! I've got like 5 or 6 years worth of voice memos to myself. I mean, I've mapped out entire machinima stories this way. I've mapped out song lyrics this way, plots for my book this way, and I've got them all on my phone. Black Shawarma says, Ox, not everyone has one of them there fancy phone thingeries. That's true. So in that case, hire a personal secretary to follow you around wherever you go with a clipboard. Make sure they can write shorthand. And then as you're going about your day, just say, Secretary, take a note. And then give them your idea. It's only awkward if you're on the can, right? Other than that, it's a great method. Gentleman Badger says, oh, I'd love to hear a collection of your best recordings. I would have to go through them first before I shared them because a lot of them are kind of scatterbrained. Yeah. And I also don't label them correctly. I think all of them say new recording 1, new recording 2, 3, 4. I don't label them, so I don't know what the recording's about until I click play. So. Andy the DK says, but if someone takes your iPhone, then you're checked. Aha! iCloud. That's right, iCloud backup. Anytime you're connected to Wi-Fi, your iPhone automatically backs up everything to the cloud, including all of your voice memos, which means you will never lose them. Even if you lose your phone and your iPad and every device you have, it's still saved somewhere in the internet ether. Holy Calkill 91 says, I'm sorry, 3 says, Ox, have you been able to make a smoke ring within a smoke ring yet? Let's try that. I haven't, but let's try it. Thunderdad91 says, Shazam, I feel ignored, sad face. I'm not ignoring you, my friend. See, I just read your comment. You're wanting to do this this app where we make the music and the... Yeah, I'll think about it. It's usually better when you have two people. See, that's the thing. When we used to do it every week, it's when my brother would come and co-host the show with me, and so we could bounce ideas off of each other and make really entertaining songs. But when it's just me... Alright, smoke ring inside a smoke ring. Here we go. Too much force there, I think. Bollocks. Ah, it's tough. It's tough. Shorma says before his brother got married and never comes to visit anymore. Yeah. Well, actually, it's my fault. I moved far away. He's still back where my old house was, and now I'm way up here in Northland. Okay, Songify. That's a good idea, Dragon, or Thunder God. We could always do a Songify of your comments. If I still have it on my phone. I do. Alright, well, let's try this. We'll do a Songify, but I will record myself reading your comments. And then we'll see if through your lyricism and my intonation we can create something amazing. So you should start typing your comment now, because by the time I click play, the lag of the comment stream will have just reached me. So I'm going to be clicking play in about 15 seconds. So you should start typing now, so that by the time I click record, I'll have something to read from the lot of you. So when I asked you to type something a moment ago, it should be online, and I'll be saying it right now. Oxhorn's voice memo number 629. Today, I slew 2 fiery bacon dragons with only a loose leaf notebook. Just another boring day. 7:50 p.m. Ox, says Lilicus, keeping me to task. Thank you. May your crispy bacon be eternal, says Gentleman Badger. The puppies dance on the streets of bacon, but soon the sun sets, says Thunder God 91. Reputation with scale of the sands has increased by 13, says Shawarma. LOL, oh my god, what to get Dairy Queen BBQ, says Andy the DK. Meat is good, meat is great. Tauren are not hippies, and night elves do not have fangs. Put it in, bacon, 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 says Shiut, the hippie lover. Ironbark says happy hippos heating hamburgers while hiccuping halos. Delete, delete, says Bald Ox, while Greg McLovin says Shiut shamefully slamming you regarding your entertaining values. And Ilikas, says Ilikas. Stogie Stogie, says Cigar Ox. Alright, let's see what we got. Oxhorn's voice memo number 629. Today I slew 2 fiery bacon dragons with only a loose leaf notebook. Just another boring day. 7:50 p.m. Ox, says Ilikas, keeping me to task. Thank you, may your crispy bacon be eternal, says Gentleman Badger. The puppies dance on the streets of bacon, but soon the sun sets, says Thunder God 91. Reputation with scale of the sands has increased by 13, says Shawarma. Okay, meat is good, meat is great. Tauren are not hippies, and night elves do not have fangs. Put it in, bacon, 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 says Shoot, the hippie lover. Ironbark says happy hippos heating hamburgers while hiccuping halos. Delete, delete, says Bollocks, while Greg McLovin says Shoot, shamefully slamming your entertaining values in yes. Alright! I think we have a winner there. That one was pretty great, ladies and gentlemen. Nicely done. So, previously I got a request to play my penny whistle, and I was going to, but I've been looking for it. And I can't see it because my desk is covered with refuse. So, I'll have to clean my office And then if I find my penny whistle, I'll have to play it next time just to make you happy. Shawarma says, the music thing is, I swear the thing always has a high pitch on my name. Yeah, I kind of just went shawarma, which is great. Witch Doctor? Asks Cigar Elf. Cigar Ox. Not Cigar Elf. Oh. Who's the Witch Doctor? Or are you saying Witch Doctor? As in Doctor Who. Witch Doctor of Doctor Who. Not that he's a witch doctor. Unless you're asking which doctor's the witch doctor. I don't know.
And help it find that audience. Why not email your friends right now? Let them know about the wonderful music you're enjoying right here.
It says, you insult my honor, Oxhorn! If I weren't downloading my beta update for more zones, I would smite you in Hearthstone. Yeah, you probably would. He destroys me almost every time we play. Except for last week. Let's try last week, I dominated. Wait! What's that over there? You gotta see it, it's over in that corner. Oh man! You just missed it. I don't know, it was like a crazy hippie running through the office. He cast a spell on me, and I couldn't stop him, but I'm okay, as you can see. Sorry, strange interruption to the show. Hope nothing had changed at all. I don't think anything would have changed. I'm sure nothing changed. Andy the DK says, Ox, what machinima series did you enjoy making the most? I liked inventing swear words. I really enjoyed inventing swear words too. It's really hard for me to choose my favorite. I enjoyed the feel and the camaraderie and the wit and the humor of the inventing swear word series. But I also really enjoyed the sort of epicness of the Associate Professor Evil series. You guys are cracking me up. Black Shawarma says, all night elves are hippies. Those who claim otherwise will be fed to King Crush. Indeed. Shiut the Farseer says, my anti-OCD is burning. Tilt the award, it burns my anti-OCD. But if you're if you're anti-OCD and you're being burned by something that otherwise would burn someone with OCD, I think that counts as OCD. So by being anti-OCD, you are, in and of yourself, OCD. Tough luck. Alright. I'm having a conundrum. I want to play a game of Hearthstone, but it is 7:55. Typically I end the show by this time. I'm going to ask my wife how far dinner is coming along. And if dinner is done, I will get up from this seat and go eat my spaghetti. But if it's not, then I will play a game of Hearthstone with you. Il-Ika-1. That is my name. It says Illicus Ranger. Get it right. Okay. Did I get it right? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we should probably start thinking about the smoke ship anyway. So what are your ideas? What is on your mind? What would you like to see woven with smoke throughout space and time and portrayed to you imminently? Sensana asks, odd question, Ox, did you hear any of Weird Al's new songs this week? Yeah, I listen to all of them at work, and they're all pretty great. My favorite is his Word Games one, and then I think I liked Foil. Foil threw me for a loop. It was pretty great. Rager, not Ranger, says Ill-Icas Ranger. Sorry about that. I hate to mispronounce names. It's not my intention. Gentleman Badger says, a very epic battle in the usual peaceful plains of Mulgore. Neighbor Tom forces to the south consisting of elves of all sorts and other like-minded humans, only armed with hummus and harsh words, against those who would only see that there be a classier world to the north. However, is Oxhorn's mighty army, based at the very rock in Mulgore, where inventing swear words first took place. Among his forces are the show's regular attendees, donned in gentlemanly or ladylike attire, including but not limited to Shawarma commanding several deadly zeppelins, Gulbreth raising armies of the undead, and so forth. Awani says, I would like to see the first Battle of Waterloo blown into smoke, Oxhorn. If you can't grant me this request, I shall die an uncompleted man. Join the club. We all die incomplete. None of us complete our lives and then say, okay, now it's time to die. Or actually, perhaps it is death itself that completes our lives, which means there's no way you could die incomplete. A side helping of philosophy here at Scotch and Smoke Rings, ladies and gentlemen. Free and gratis. William Moore says, Stickhorn and Mortus piloting Scotch-fueled, jet-propelled dog sleds all across Northrend, fighting the Lich King's personal army of evil man-eating snowmen, while Oxhorn rides a bacon-eating zombie Murloc as he leads an army of bearded Viking dwarves to storm and the Lich King's castle to find the legendary cigar known as Frostleaf, so that Ox may smoke it and finally make a smoke ring within a smoke ring. Yours are always brilliant, my friend. They always tickle me. Nicely done. Awani says, with the Battle of Waterloo, I will be complete. Oh, and Gentleman Badgers keeps on going. Did I miss that part? Something about a magical helmet. From the ground, McLovin charging in on the mighty King Crush, and of course Sir Oxhorn leading the charge atop Buzzco, as well as brandishing his mighty hammer and magical helmet. The fans slowly diminish the hippie forces, leaving only room for bacon, Scotch, smoke rings, and perhaps the most important of all, a classy lifestyle. And then he says, sorry, I got creative. Nicely done, good sir. Nicely done. And then Shawarma comes in with his dinner-themed smoke chips, a honey-dipped fried chicken half, smoked tater chips, juicy corn on the cob with honey butter, and a pint of stout ale. Now that is a southern meal, my friend. I feel like I would be invited to a southern plantation and given this feast on a deck, sitting in a rocking chair, sipping on a glass of iced tea. That's how delicious that sounds. Okay, oh, here's one from Andy the DK. Garrosh Hellscream riding a bacon mount, sold from the Blizzard store for the small price of $300. Which, of course, it would be, right? If they put a bacon mount into the game, $300 so you could get your bacon mount. And you know what? It would sell. People would buy it. They would spend $300 on a virtual bacon mount item. They would make bank. So you just came up with $1 million idea. You should pitch it to Blizzard. Okay. Great smoke chips, everybody. Gentleman Badger, yours was epic, truly epic, but it was so long that it spans like 15 paragraphs up the page, and there's no way that I could like go up to read it. So, William Moore, your smoke ship tickled me. I'm going to go ahead and award it to you today. Nicely done, everybody. Thanks for all of your great smoke ships. All right, pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. And this is the moment you've all been waiting for. The one moment here on Scotch and Smoke Rings every week that I take nothing more than this cigar and this amazing maw. Combine the two. Add a little bit of Oxhorn magic. And then out comes a beautiful but short-lived ship made entirely out of smoke. Here we go. Whoa! It was there for a brief moment. I hope you click your print screen button to take a photo of it. But for the briefest of moments, we had Staghorn and Mortus piloting Scotch-fueled jet-propelled dog sleds all across Northrend, fighting the Lich King's personal army of evil man-eating snowmen. Meanwhile, Oxhorn rides a bacon-eating zombie Murloc as he leads an army of bearded Viking dwarfs to storm the Lich King castle to find the legendary cigar known as Frostleaf, so that Oxhorn may smoke it and finally make a smoke ring within a smoke ring at the Battle of Waterloo. There you go. I know, right? It's a gift, really. I hate to brag, but when you have powers like mine, it's hard not to. Time to wet my whistle here. Andy the DK says, I saw the ship and then it crashed into your epic beard. Yes, my beard is the graveyard of many a smoke ship. That's a quote. In 50 years, that's going to be in your child's textbook. All right, ladies and gentlemen. ThunderGod91 says your drink is lonely. Yes, it is. It never hurts to make it a little less lonely. Cheers. Awani is telling jokes and says, how does one wet a whistle? Simple, my dear boy. Drop it in a well. Ba-dum-ts. Nice. That's a good one. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming to this week's episode of Scotch and Smoke Rings. We've had puns, we've had moments of recrimination and thoughtfulness, we've had smoke ships and even songifiers. And today we end the program by saying good night, have a pleasant evening, keep yourselves and those whom you love classy in all manners and respects. And I will see you next week, same Ox time, same Ox channel. Hat in hand and beard on chin, ready to bring you into a world of class. Have a good night, everybody.